Hello and welcome to the latest here on Hatton TV. As you can see behind me, we're at the Amir Khan, Paul McCloskey news conference where the two boxers have been announcing their big fight on April the 16th in association with Hatton Promotions. So we've spoken to both men, we've seen the news conference. Let's show you what happened.
Thank you everyone for coming. My name is David Itzkowitz. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Golden Boy Promotions. A few administrative matters before we get to everyone here on the dais and really get to the nuts and bolts of discussing the fight. This show is going to be presented by Khan Promotions and Golden Boy Promotions in association with Hatton Promotions. Of course, April 16th, 2011 at the MEN Arena right here in Manchester. We're all very excited to be coming to this great boxing venue, which, as you all know, has seen the likes of Ricky Hatton, David Haye, Nassim Hamed all compete. We're going to be televised by Sky Box Office here in the UK, HBO in the United States. So the best in broadcasting will be carrying the fight. Ticket prices start at just £40. They go up to £300 for ringside. Go on sale today at noon. We were originally going to go on sale at 1 o'clock, but we pushed it to noon because we were seeing such a tremendous demand. We wanted to get the tickets out there. From what I understand, Paul's going to be bringing quite a big contingency down from Northern Ireland. We urge fans, get your tickets now. Get out, support boxing, support Amir, and all the fans in Northern Ireland, support Paul. Looking forward to a big crowd at the MEN. Amir is going to be taking on, as I mentioned, Paul McCloskey, an undefeated champion. We're all very excited about that. A few people I'd like to acknowledge. First, from Sky Box Office, Barney Francis, who's the managing director of Sky Sports, Adam Smith, who's the head of boxing. From HBO, Ross Greenberg, president of HBO Sports, and Kerry Davis, who's the senior vice president of programming at HBO Sports. Also would like to acknowledge Robert Smith, who's the general secretary of the British Boxing Board of Control. I want to thank them. Looking forward to working with them on this event. As I mentioned, this event is being presented in association with Hatton Promotions, and now representing Hatton Promotions, a man who really needs no introduction here in Manchester, but I will introduce him. He's the president of Hatton Promotions, Mr. Ricky Hatton.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to Amir, Asif, and everyone at Khan Promotions for giving me the opportunity to bring Amir's homecoming to my hometown of Manchester. As I've always said, I've been a boxer and now I'm a promoter, but one thing I've always been a boxing fan. And when you see the story of Amir, where he's come from in his career, it's a real massive success story. The last time he was in the MEN Arena, when he was in the MEN Arena, he fought Brady Prospect and suffered that only defeat on his record. In many ways, and wrongly so, bearing in mind he was at such an early start of his career, he was written off in many ways. And how he has rammed it down the critics' throats with how he's turned his career around is a right credit to him. And if you are a British boxing fan, you should be very, very proud of having a British fighter that would do that. He moved up in weight divisions immediately after his defeat and won a world title at the weight above, which is always difficult enough when you've just come off a knockout defeat. He then went over to the United States and joined the world's best regarded coach in Freddie Roach to give himself the best opportunity and try and be the best Amir Khan he can be, which is been difficult enough as it is, and he's done that well. And even in his last fight, in the fight of the year, against Maidana, who, if you do know your boxing in a few years, everybody was turning around and saying that Maidana is style-wise somebody Amir should avoid. And not only did he fight Maidana, who is the biggest puncher in his weight division and style-wise probably the most dangerous fighter that Amir could have faced, he fought him in his American debut in Vegas, his Vegas debut, which is hard enough as it is. And not only did he prove the doubters wrong again in proving that he has got a solid chin, not only did he take it, he come back and started going toe to toe with him as well. I mean, if that doesn't make you proud you know, to be a British fight fan, then I don't know what it is. It's a credit to him that he's turned his career around and more. And it's a fighter's goal to always win the world title, which is what Amir's done. But he's not sat back on his laurels, and he's not satisfied with what he's done. I think he's going on from strength to strength. You can see what he's going to do, and I think with the way he's ticking all the boxes and progressing and improving like he is, I don't think it will be long before he's on the top of that pound for pound list. I really do strongly believe that. And I think, you know, if you are a British boxing fan, you would turn up in Manchester that night and get right behind this man, because there's nothing prouder when I still to this day, you know, have fans come up to me and say, "Oh, Ricky, you know, I went to your fight against Mayweather, and I went to your fight against Pacquiao and Kostya and Molinari," and I can see how proud fight fans are when they speak to me in that way, and it makes me feel proud equally, because the fans in many ways are sort of like saying to me they've been there and they've played their part in what made me get to the stage that I got. And fight fans would be foolish to miss out on the opportunity to go and watch Amir Khan and say you was there at the early stages before he hit the very, very top, which I'm confident he is going to do. So I just urge all fight fans, all them wonderful fans that supported me over the years, you know, to come and support Amir Khan, because he's a real fighter. You know, he's made from the same cloth as me. I like to think I got my fan base because of, not just because of, you know, the boxing ability I had and the talent that I had, is because, you know, there was a no nonsense. There was a little bit of a die-hard feel about me. I took on all comers, and since Amir's defeat, that is exactly what he's done. And I think, you know, you need to be there to be at the start of something that is going to go through the roof. He's going to be the next boxing superstar at the highest level in the pound for pound rankings, and I feel very, very proud that I, you know, having my little small part to play in his homecoming fight. But the last message I will say to not just British fight fans, but mainly probably the people of Manchester, you know, is that, you know, so many big boxing nights that we had. When I boxed Kostya at the MEN Arena, it was an atmosphere like no other. And I must have had about, I think I had about 10 fights maybe at the MEN Arena, 10 or 12 fights where it was all packed to the rafters, great atmosphere. Now this is going to be shown on the world stage, because that's where Amir is now. You know, just to the Manchester people, come and do what you did for Ricky Hatton, for Amir. Come and buy your tickets, you know, and let's show the rest of the world that there's still only one place. Even though I've owned the gloves up, there's still only one place to come and watch boxing, and that's the MEN Arena in Manchester. And come and get behind this fight that the country should be really, really proud of. But it's a great opportunity for Paul. Paul is, you know, he's undefeated. He comes from a really great stable. You know, an unbeaten fighter is always the most dangerous out there, because he doesn't know he can be beaten. And that's what Paul brings to the table. Amir could have probably gone for a lot easier opponent than he did. Somebody that maybe has a few more miles on the clock, but they've got a fresh youngster, really, really ambition. Southpaw, very, very talented, that's going to come and believe he wins. And, you know, and Amir knows he's going to be in for a tough time. I hope the Irish contingent come home and support him, similar to what Eamon McGee did when I boxed Eamon McGee at the MEN Arena. The Irish supporters took up a whole stand, and you know, it made for an absolutely fantastic atmosphere. And I hope the Irish support come and get behind Paul and try and make it as good of atmosphere, and hopefully a better atmosphere than what it even was on that night. But I'd just like to say once again thank you to Amir for giving us this opportunity to, you know, to put on a great show. I think the undercard will be exceptional as well, which we'll probably obviously announce that in the next week or so, because obviously the main thing is now is announcing Amir's fight against Paul. And I really do just, you know, say thank you for the opportunity, and really hope that the fans come out and buy a ticket and say you know you were there, you know, when this next superstar put his first run. Because I mean, believe you me, there's every chance that Amir Khan, the way he's improving, could become Britain's first ever #1 pound for pound fighter. And buy your tickets, and so you can look back in years to come and say, you know, I was there at the start of it. But nothing more to say really, but just wish Paul and Amir all the very best on the night. And I really do hope the fans come out and do this fight and do Amir justice and get behind him exactly like you did with me in my career. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Ricky. I want to introduce now a gentleman who is a general manager of the MEN Arena. Also want to mention tickets available through Ticketmaster and the MEN Arena box office. Again, get them now. But now to say a few words, John Knight, General Manager of the MEN Arena. Echoing a lot of what Ricky said there, I mean, we're very excited, obviously, for Amir to be back at the MEN Arena. I suppose it's every young boxer's ambition and dream when they're growing up to fight in the bright lights of Vegas and the historic Madison Square Garden, where Amir's most recent excursions have been. But home is where the heart is, and I know that he's enjoyed very many big nights as he grew up watching events at the MEN Arena. I know he was there for a lot of Ricky's fights, Nassim Hamed, some David Hay, Beyonce, big one for you. I know you enjoyed that one, Ricky, and recently Usher. So it is home to him in lots of ways, and we do believe that coming back, this is the fight which is really going to capture the public's imagination for the first time for Amir in this country and at the MEN Arena. And as Ricky said, the atmosphere is like no other. He always said, going back to Ricky's big days, that that was an extra man in his corner. And we believe that. We believe it is the best venue for boxing in this country. We've got great tradition, great history, and this is going to be just another one of those big nights. So well done for bringing it. Good luck to Amir, and we'll look forward to it very much. Thank you, John. Now to introduce Team McCloskey, I'd like to introduce the Managing Director of Matchroom Sport, Mr. Eddie Hearn.
Thank you for all those well wishes for Paul McCloskey. Very nice. I won't be trying to sell you tickets just yet, but I'll be trying to sell you the chances of Paul McCloskey for this fight. It's very interesting to hear about the legacy of Amir Khan, but the team and Paul McCloskey have got other ideas. Everyone will have heard about the speculation surrounding the negotiations for this fight. We weren't shy in letting people know that we weren't happy with the initial offer. But underneath the offer and the money involved in boxing and the money involved in sport is a desire of people to achieve their dreams and goals, and obviously that's something that was burning within Paul McCloskey. When you take the money away from sport and offers, the dreams make the money irrelevant, and that's really what's happened in the making of this fight. With Paul McCloskey, you have an undefeated fighter with bundles of Irish fighting spirit, which makes him very dangerous. Ranked number 5 in the WBA, 4 in the WBC, and reigning European champion. So all the credentials to be worthy of a great opponent for this fight. I think we all know what Amir can do. He's proved himself in the Maidana fight, proved himself unbelievably. Came through that with flying colours. Any questions that he had regarding him, I think he answered very well, and we respect him fully, and we thank him for the opportunity to take in this fight. But I think he knows he'll be in a tough fight, and I'm sure he'll prepare to the best of his capabilities. And I think what you'll see is a fight quite similar to the Maidana fight. Someone who's got bundles of heart in Paul, and a great fighter, great lateral movement. And I think one thing that Amir will find more difficult in this fight is hitting Paul. And he found in Maidana an opponent who was prepared to stand there and take plenty of shots. He didn't stop him. And I think he's going to have troubles hitting Paul. And I think that he's in for a tough night. And what Ricky said, Ricky knows all about the hunger of a fighter. And when a fighter's never lost in their career, they've never experienced defeat. And I know that's something that Paul has absolutely no intention of doing so now. So, we're game, we're ready. And Paul has a burning desire, like many fighters, to become champion of the world. And it's not often in life or your career that you get a chance to do so. And he has that chance. And I know that he's going to attempt and do everything he can to grab that with both hands. Thank you. Introduce the whole team. Sure. We've got Francis might say a few words later. I think we're going to throw it open to Paul now to talk about the fight, talk about your preparation. Obviously, the big moment, fighting for a world title. You are the underdog, but like I said, we've got our own plans and you'll be confident.
Well, thank you everybody. It's an honour to be here. I say again, sentiment with these other people sit here. You know, it's an honour to be here. It's a privilege to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but again, the opportunity has come because of what I've done on the ring so far in my career. I'm undefeated, obviously, 22-0. I've no doubts in my mind that I can run and beat Amir Khan, even though he's improved dramatically this last couple of years under Freddie Roach. Amir's a great boxer. Since he come to Freddie, like, he's obviously improved dramatically since that knockout defeat to Betis Prescott. He's proved in the last fight how big a heart he has and how much skill and how much movement he had in that fight. You know, in the last couple of rounds he was in trouble and he hung on there very, very well. He had Maidana down. That was just a toe-to-toe scrap at times. It was just amazing to watch. From summing everything up, you know, obviously I'm in camp now myself. I'm just thinking of 10 weeks time, or just under 10 weeks now for the biggest night of my life. 5 years ago, or just under 5 years ago, I was over actually when Ricky fought Costa. I was the floater that night. About 10 minutes to go, 50 minutes to go, they came in and told me the fight was off. That was my third fight. That was a kick in the teeth for me, but again, I'm here now and I'm fighting for a world title in the same arena. So I think fate can play its part sometimes with things in life. So I'm looking forward to getting myself in the shape of my life. I'm obviously changing a few things in my training. I've got my conditioning now. I'm working really hard at the minute. I'm looking forward to fighting Amir Khan, who's a star in boxing at the minute. I think he's a great fighter. I think I've got the tools that can beat anybody. So this could make a great nice boxing. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Now I'd like to introduce and acknowledge members of Team Khan. Behind every great fighter is a great team, and Amir truly does have a great team. First, I want to acknowledge a gentleman who's not here today, Freddie Roach, one of the finest trainers in the world, who is the architect of the game plans inside the ring. So I just wanted to acknowledge Freddie. Another gentleman who is here that I would like to acknowledge, he's a little shy, but I still like to acknowledge him, Robert Davis, who is Amir's attorney. Another gentleman who I'd like to acknowledge, an integral part of Team Khan with Khan Promotions. He's also Amir's uncle, Taz Khan. And the man that kind of makes it all happen. He's Amir's father. He looks out for him, is intimately involved in all aspects of Amir's career. A pleasure to work with, too, Mr. Shah Khan. And now to say a few words, another gentleman who is a 24/7 guy like myself, always working very hard behind the scenes. He's Amir's manager, Mr. Asif Ali. Asif.
Thank you, David. Welcome to Manchester, Team McCloskey. Francie, you are a hard man to work with. Everybody knows about the negotiations, and we got here in the end. I thank you for bringing your team to the table here and the opportunity for Amir to fight Paul on the 16th of April. Astonishingly enough, only last night at around 11 o'clock, I got an email to say, Team McCloskey wants 5,000 tickets. That's how confident they are. That's how big this fight is. And this fight is huge for Manchester. It'd be great for Ireland. It'd be great for the UK. And it'd be massive with the help of Hatton Promotions, with the help of Golden Boy, and with the help of Sky Box Office HD. It's screened on the night. We all know that. But you've got to be there. I know it'll be a sellout. It's a big, big event. And it'll be a great night of boxing. So please try and get and see it live, and I'm sure that Team McCloskey and Amir will give a magnificent night of boxing on the 16th of April. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Asif. It's my honor now to introduce the gentleman sitting here to my right. It's a pleasure for all of us at Golden Boy to work with him and his team. He's the current WBA super lightweight champion of the world. As you all know, he won a silver medal in the 2004 Olympic Games at the age of 17 as the lone member of the English boxing team. well known for his work outside of the ring as well, the charity work he does here in the UK and in Pakistan. In March of 2009, he defeated the legendary Marco Antonio Barrera, and then later in that year captured the WBA title with a win over Kotelnik. His first defense came in December of 2009, which was his last fight here in England. That took 76 seconds when he defeated another former undefeated fighter in Dimitri Salita. He then invaded the United States, came over to New York, came to Madison Square Garden, took on a slick boxer in Paul Malignaggi and just dominated him. A fast guy that said a lot of people said hard to hit. He's going to give him a lot of problems. He really dominated the fight, ended up winning by TKO in the 11th. And then, as everyone remembers, in December, he decided to take on the challenge of Marcos Maidana, who, as people have said, in terms of fights that were out there, it was probably the toughest fight he could have taken, a murderous puncher, and he went toe-to-toe with him for 12 rounds, had some unbelievable back-and-forth action in that fight, survived quite an onslaught in the 10th round, which I think showed the world what he's got here, and more importantly, what he's got in here. The fight was voted the Fight of the Year by the Boxing Writers Association of America, which is something we at Golden Boy are really proud of. Without any further ado, he has a record of 24-1 with 17 KOs. From Bolton, England, the WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Amir Khan.
Hi guys, just want to thank all the media, the press for turning up here. Thank Team McCloskey for coming to Manchester, taking this fight. Also Team Hatton, we're working alongside Ricky Hatton for this fight. I'm a big fan of Ricky Hatton, as you all know. I went to many of his fights at the MEN. I also want to thank the MEN Arena for having the fight there, and Golden Boy Promotions and Khan Promotions. It's going to be a big fight for me, coming back home. The last two fights were in America, fighting against Paul Malignaggi, then Maidana. I want to thank the American boxing writers and the world boxing writers for voting the Maidana fight the best fight of the year. This fight coming on the 16th of April is going to be a big fight for me because, coming back home is one thing, but fighting Paul McCloskey, an unbeaten fighter who's got a lot of skill, also he's a southpaw. And I've been watching him fight, and I like his style. I think he's very sharp and he's got a good punch. So it's gonna be a tough fight. But this is what I like. This is what drives me. What drives me is all these tough fights, and it's gonna only bring the best out of me. I hear there's a lot of fans from Ireland who are going to be backing him. Also, he'll have fans from England as well. But it's just great getting the fight on. I'm going to be leaving England on Thursday, going to America. My training camp's going to be 4 weeks in LA, and from there go to Philippines and start training with Manny Pacquiao alongside with him and Freddie Roach and everyone. It's going to be good to train with Manny because he's a southpaw with a similar style. But Freddie has all the sparring partners and everything ready. So I'm just looking forward to it. I just want to thank everyone for turning up again. And hopefully on the 16th of April, it's going to be a big night for boxing, really. You've got two British fighters, and, it's for the world title. So, I'll be ready. I'm sure Paul will be ready as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir. I guess now we'll open up the floor for questions for anyone who's on the dais.
Yeah, gentlemen, good morning. You're live on Sky Sports News. I'm sure I don't have to remind you about language. Amir, welcome back to Manchester. What it's like to be back and preparing for a fight? It's not your home city, but pretty close. Yes,
very close. I live in Bolton, and Manchester's literally 10 minutes away. I used to come a lot to watch Ricky fight over here, and I've had 3 fights in Manchester myself. One was the defeat. We know what mistakes we made then. We're not going to make that again. And one thing about me, I've tasted defeat, and I didn't like it, so I'm not going to make that mistake or make any mistake like that. But it's just great to come back home in front of your home fans. Like I said, in the last 2 fights were in America, and I've not fought in England for over a year, so it's going to be great to come back.
Is it that defeat that kind of focuses your mind when you come back to Manchester?
Yeah, definitely. In a way, it just keeps me more focused, and in boxing things can go wrong, and I'm not going to make no more mistakes. I'm going to be so focused. I'm going to be on the ball.
You've taken dangerous fights before. How dangerous is this one, and why Paul McCloskey?
Paul's very dangerous. You know, he's got an unbeaten record. He's got a good knockout record as well. You know, he's a southpaw. I've only fought probably 5 southpaws in my career, and the main thing is unbeaten. You know, he's never tasted defeat. He's going to come into this fight confident, and you know, it's a big occasion for him because, you know, fighting for a world title, you're not going to take it easy. You know, you have to remember when I fought for a world title against Kotelnik, you know, I was geared up for it. I was, you know, it was a big occasion for me, and I took it with both hands. I'm sure he's going to try the same thing.
Your last fight, as David said, was fight of the year. I mean, how much kind of damage and how much recovery did you need from that?
Yeah, it was a big effort. You know, Maidana is a very strong fighter, and you know, he's very dangerous, as we all know. He caught me with some big shots, but you know, I learned more off that fight than, you know, the damage and everything. That's boxing for you. You are going to go into big fights, but you know, I come from it quite well. After a couple of days, I was okay. I had no injuries or anything, so I was happy to get that over with.
You talked with admiration about Ricky on your right. I mean, what he had was a massive fan base here in Manchester. Are you hoping for something similar by fighting, getting that really going, that momentum?
Yeah, definitely. You know, Ricky's a great champion we've had here, and also, you know, selling at the MEN Arena. So, and it's great just to be working with him and his promotion team. So hopefully, you know, we can get the same amount of fans turning up for the fight, and it's gonna be a massive night for both parties.
I know we spoke yesterday, but you talked about your strength and conditioning coach changing. It's clearly a challenge because you've had him for such a long time.
Yeah.
Is that all sorted out?
Yeah, everything's sorted. I spoke to Freddie last night, and Freddie said he's got another guy there, another guy who's very good. He knows exactly what to do. One thing you have to remember with Freddie tells his strength conditions what to do and what we need to work on and stuff. So Freddie's a smart guy in there. But we've got everything sorted out. Like I said, I'm going to America on Thursday, and I'm going to sit with the strength conditioner. Training starts for me on Monday, and you know, hopefully from there we'll just kick it all in.
And clearly working with Manny gives you a little bit of a heads up in terms of a southpaw again, probably the best southpaw in the world.
Yeah, you know, Manny's a southpaw, and he's very tricky to hit, very smart. But he's just so much confidence. You know, it gives you so much confidence to work with someone like Manny because he's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, and it's going to be, you know, I'm sure he can give me some good tips for this fight.
In terms of Freddie's fight, like Freddie Roach, does he come over here for the sort of week leading up to the fight? How's that going to work?
That's right. Manny will be training at the same time as me. So what Freddie's going to do is he's going to come back a week before the fight. Manny has to train on his own then, and he's going to stay with me for that 1 week.